Want to know why everyone is so miserable? If you look around, a lot of people do seem miserable, stressed, unfulfilled, or just running on autopilot. We're going to dive deep into the systems that drain us, the comparisons that trap us, and the fear that keeps us from truly living. This is about understanding the problem so we can find real solutions. So let's get into it. Okay, first up, let's talk about the system. I'm talking about the way we've structured our lives, the expectations we've built, the routines we follow without even thinking. Day in and day out, we move like clockwork. Most of us are trapped in these systems that just drain the life out of us. We become shadows of our true selves. Think about it. That dead-end job you dread going to every morning, the one that makes you question your purpose, that relationship that sucks the energy from your soul, leaving you feeling empty and unfulfilled, the societal pressures that tell you to be someone you're not, to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. These systems prioritize security over passion, conformity over individuality. They stifle creativity and personal growth. We're told to climb the ladder, buy the house, get that promotion, follow the script, even if it means sacrificing our dreams, our passions, our health, our sanity, and our well-being. We become cogs in a machine that doesn't care about our happiness, only our productivity. We lose sight of what truly matters. And the worst part, we often don't even realize we're stuck. We normalize the exhaustion, the resentment, the constant stress, the feeling that something's missing. We convince ourselves that this is just how life is supposed to be. We tell ourselves this is just how life is, that everyone feels this way, that it's normal to be perpetually tired and unfulfilled. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to change our narrative. We have the power to question these systems, to challenge the status quo, to break free from the routines that no longer serve us. It's about reclaiming our lives. So ask yourself, is this job, this relationship, this way of life truly serving me? Is it helping me grow? Or am I clinging to it out of fear, out of habit, out of a sense of obligation? It's time to reflect, to make conscious choices that align with our true selves, or am I clinging to it out of fear, out of habit, out of a sense of obligation? It's time to break free and live authentically. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe it's more like the perfectly filtered, carefully curated Instagram feed in the room, the comparison trap. We live in a world where everyone's highlight reel is on constant display, and it's messing with our heads. You scroll through social media and see friends on exotic vacations, colleagues landing huge promotions, influencers with seemingly perfect lives. And what happens? You start to feel inadequate, like you're falling behind in some invisible race. But here's the thing, it's not a fair comparison. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's carefully constructed highlight reel. This constant comparison creates a breeding ground for self-doubt and dissatisfaction. We start chasing someone else's definition of success, someone else's version of happiness, instead of defining it for ourselves. We forget that everyone's journey is unique, that there's no one-size-fits-all path to fulfillment. So how do we escape this trap? It's not about deleting all social media and living off the grid. It's about being mindful of how these platforms make us feel. Focus on your own path, your own progress. Celebrate your small victories, embrace your imperfections, and remember that your worth isn't determined by likes, comments, or follow counts. All right, let's get real for a second. What's the point of it all? No, seriously, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you feel truly alive? If you're struggling to answer those questions, you might be facing a lack of purpose. Many people wander through life feeling lost, directionless, unsure of what they're truly passionate about. This lack of purpose can lead to a deep sense of emptiness, a feeling that something crucial is missing. So we try to fill that void with distractions, with quick fixes that only provide temporary relief. We scroll endlessly through social media, binge-watch TV shows, numb ourselves with food, alcohol, or whatever else helps us avoid confronting that emptiness inside. But here's the thing, true fulfillment doesn't come from external distractions. It comes from connecting with something bigger than ourselves, something that gives our lives meaning and direction. It's about finding our why, our reason for being. Maybe it's a creative pursuit, a desire to help others, a fascination with understanding the world around us. Whatever it is, it's out there, waiting to be discovered. Keep searching, keep exploring, and trust that you'll find your way to a life filled with purpose. and meaning. Chapter 4. Fear of change. Here's a paradox for you. We crave change, yet we fear it more than almost anything else. This fear can be so paralyzing that it stops us from taking even the smallest steps towards improvement. Think about it. We complain about our jobs, our relationships, our lives, but when it comes to actually making a change, we hesitate. We find ourselves stuck in a loop of dissatisfaction and inaction. We freeze, we stay stuck. Why? Because change is scary. It challenges our sense of security and forces us to step into the unknown. It represents the unknown, and the unknown is full of uncertainty, risk, and the possibility of failure. This fear of the unknown can be overwhelming. It's much easier, much more comfortable to stay in our comfort zones, even if those comfort zones have become cages. We prefer the familiar pain over the uncertain possibility of joy. We tell ourselves all sorts of stories to justify our inaction. We convince ourselves that staying put is the safer option. It's too late to change now. We believe that time has run out for us to make meaningful changes. I'm too old, too young, too inexperienced. What if I fail? These are the questions that haunt us. What if I make the wrong choice? The fear of making a mistake can be paralyzing. These fears are understandable, but they shouldn't hold us hostage. We need to recognize them and move past them, because here's the thing. Staying stuck comes with its own set of risks. The risk of regret, the risk of missed opportunities, the risk of waking up one day filled with what-ifs, wondering what could have been, the risk of never knowing what we're truly capable of achieving, the potential we leave untapped. Change is a constant in life. It's inevitable and ever-present. We can either resist it and be swept away by its currents, or we can embrace it and find our own path. Or we can learn to ride the waves, to adapt, to evolve. Embracing change can lead to growth and new opportunities. And yes, sometimes we'll wipe out. Sometimes we'll make mistakes, but that's part of the journey. But even in those failures, there are lessons to be learned, wisdom to be gained. Each failure is a stepping stone to success. It's about taking small, consistent actions that move you closer to the life you want to create. Every small step counts. Chapter 5. Disconnection. We live in a world that's more connected than ever before. Technology has bridged gaps that once seemed insurmountable. We can communicate with people across the globe in an instant, access information with a few taps on our phones, and build online communities that span continents. The digital age has revolutionized the way we interact. Yet despite all this connectivity, we're facing an epidemic of loneliness and disconnection. The irony is palpable. Think about it. When was the last time you had a genuine heart-to-heart conversation with someone? A moment where you felt truly understood? Not just small talk or surface-level interactions, but a real, raw, vulnerable exchange of thoughts and feelings. These moments are becoming rare. We've replaced meaningful connections with shallow interactions. Our screens have become barriers rather than bridges. We collect followers instead of friends, likes instead of love, and virtual validation instead of genuine human connection. The metrics of social media have distorted our sense of worth. We spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing our lives to others, feeling envious and inadequate, all while neglecting the real relationships right in front of us. The cycle is vicious and pervasive. We prioritize convenience over connection, choosing to text or email instead of picking up the phone or meeting face to face. The ease of digital communication has come at a cost. But here's the thing. We are social creatures. Our need for connection is deeply ingrained in our DNA. We thrive on connection, on belonging, on feeling seen and heard and understood. These are fundamental human needs. And no amount of technology can replace the warmth of human touch, the comfort of shared laughter, the power of a listening ear. These are irreplaceable experiences. So how do we combat this disconnection? The answer lies in our actions. Put down the phone and look up. Make eye contact, listen attentively, ask meaningful questions, engage with intention, be present in your interactions. Cultivate real-life relationships. These are the connections that truly matter. Chapter 6. Overwhelmed and exhausted. Let's face it, modern life is exhausting. We're constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and demands on our time and attention. We're expected to be on all the time, to respond to emails immediately, to keep up with the never-ending news cycle, to maintain a perfectly curated online persona. It's no wonder we're feeling overwhelmed and burned out. We're not wired to operate at this pace, to process this much information, to juggle this many responsibilities. We're human beings, not machines. This constant state of overwhelm takes a toll on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. We experience increased stress, anxiety, difficulty sleeping, digestive issues, weakened immune systems, and a general sense of malaise. We become so caught up in the doing, the achieving, the striving, that we forget how to simply be. We lose sight of the present moment, the beauty in the ordinary, the joy in the simple things. So how do we find peace in this chaotic world? It starts with setting boundaries, learning to say no to commitments that drain us, disconnecting from technology regularly, and prioritizing rest and self-care. Remember, it's okay to slow down. You deserve to live a life that feels manageable and fulfilling, not overwhelming and exhausting. Outro: finding your way out. So, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the systems that drain us to the comparisons that trap us, from the fear of change to the epidemic of disconnection. The way out? People need to awaken their dreams, reconnect with their passions, take risks, and break free from what drains them. Thanks for watching.